At the seminary I attended in Rome, for the academic part of our formation, we were given the option to choose one of two universities. One that was run by the Dominicans and taught in English. The other one run by the Jesuits with classes taught in Italian. We would joke that those who went to the university with classes taught in English never really learned their Italian, and those who went to the university with classes in Italian never really learned their theology. I attended the one with classes taught in English, and it's true, I never even came close to being proficient in Italian, which made for humorous interactions from time to time. Remember one in particular with a member of the kitchen staff at the seminary. I was on a little bit of a special diet, and so I approached her to ask her, is there meat for supper? And in clearly articulated Italian, I said, "C'è carne per cena." And she looked at me, and I said, "C'è carne per cena." And she takes a step back. And then with my great Italian accent, I said, "Carne, carne, carne." And she just turned and walked away. And I got back to my room, and I thought, oh yeah, meat in Italian has an R. It's carne. Carne is dog. She was always a little standoffish after that. Dog, dog, dog. One little letter can make a big difference, huh? That's happening actually in that second reading that we heard from St. Peter. In Hebrew, the word for son has one letter difference than that for stone. Son in Hebrew is ben, B-E-N. Stone is eben, E-B-E-N. Peter is playing on that, making a word play. When he said, come to Jesus, a living stone, a living son, rejected by human beings, but chosen and precious in the sight of God, and like living stones, sons, let yourselves be built into a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood to offer spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. Now, every good Jew knew that God would once again dwell in the temple when it had been properly rebuilt. He had dwelt in the original temple under that form of the cloud, the Shekinah, that descended upon it. But when it was destroyed, his presence departed. Jews knew that when it was properly rebuilt, he would once again dwell there. Rebuilding the temple was the primary task of the prophesied Messiah, a son of David. The stone rejected by the builders has become the cornerstone, as Peter said. It's a stone without which the temple lacks integrity. It can't stand. It really can't be built properly. And what did Jesus say about himself? Destroy this temple, and in 3 days, I will raise it up. You see, Jesus, the Son, the Messiah, has built a new temple. That, of course, is reflected in the temples, the churches like ours, that will reflect that. There will be places of worship of God. But fundamentally, the temple is of living stones, people who have been baptized into Christ Jesus and who have become sons, children of God. This is what you are. This is your gift and calling, Peter was saying. Because you are part of the spiritual house, offer all you have and are to God as priests. Offer up sacrifices and prayers to the Lord. Now, no doubt, our church will be a reflection of our own being built into a spiritual house here at JP2. When you think about it, it's been less than a year, not even 9 months, since we finished the renovations at the school and we're about to complete a very successful first year. We're about maxed out for next year. It's been less than 2 years since we've concluded our campaign, and what we have left to raise is for ornamentation, decoration, and organ, liturgical appointments. The building itself, well, that's been secured. And as hard as it is to believe, we should be able to push dirt later this year. We are being built into a spiritual house. But we take time every year to pause and make sure that the building is going to be an authentic reflection of what's happening interiorly in our own hearts. So it's consistent. And so we pause to be intentional about our discipleship. And we look at it through the lens of that event of our baptism when we became children of God, living stones, and anointed as priest, prophet, and king. You remember the aromatic oil that was poured on your child's head? Remember that scent of that? That's when they were anointed priest, prophet, and king. So to that end, we create goals every year and renew our discipleship. At the end of the pews are pamphlets that I'd have you pass down to that effect.